What happens when an entire city just stops? When the champagne glasses are left half full? When the shop doors stay locked? When 40,000 people walk away from their lives and never come back? Not because of a disaster, not because of a plague, but because someone decided they couldn't. For 50 years, this place has been waiting, empty, silent, forbidden. And the people who used to call it home, they've been watching it die from behind a fence. Picture this: luxury hotels crumbling into the sand, shop windows still displaying clothes from 1974, cars rusting in driveways, keys still in the ignition, and absolutely no one allowed inside. This isn't some Hollywood set. This isn't a movie about the apocalypse. This is Varosha, southern quarter of the city of Famagusta, Cyprus. For nearly 50 years, this place was frozen, locked behind barbed wire, guarded by soldiers, forbidden to the world. They called it the Monaco of the Mediterranean. Elizabeth Taylor vacationed here. Brigitte Bardot walked these beaches. The rich and famous came from all over the world to party in its nightclubs, to lie on its golden sand. And then one day, everyone left. Not because they wanted to, because they had to. And what they left behind became one of the most haunting ghost towns on earth. You are now watching Glimpse. Subscribe for more films like this one. Act 1, The Golden Age. Let's go back to the 1960s. Varosha wasn't just a beach town. It was the beach town. Imagine Miami Beach, but in the Mediterranean. Modern high-rise hotels lining the coast. Casinos. Restaurants serving champagne and caviar. Shops selling the latest fashion from Paris and Milan. The beach, 6 miles of pure white sand and crystal clear water. This was where European elites came to escape, where movie stars hid from the paparazzi, where wealthy families spent entire summers. The city of Famagusta, where Varosha sits, had been around for thousands of years, but Varosha itself, that was new, that was modern, that was the future. By 1974, nearly 40,000 people lived there. Hotels were fully booked. Construction cranes dotted the skyline because they were building more. Everyone wanted a piece of Varosha. Business owners were making fortunes. Families were thriving. The future looked bright. But that summer, everything changed. Act 2, the day everything stopped. July 1974. Tensions between Greece and Turkey had been building for years. Cyprus, caught in the middle, was about to become a battlefield. On July 20th, Turkish forces invaded northern Cyprus, and Varosha, it was right in their path.
Guided in by jet fighters, and the very first paratroopers are now hitting Cyprus soil. Over there, Alan.
Imagine waking up to the sound of gunfire, of tanks rolling through your streets, of helicopters overhead. The Turkish military gave residents a simple message: leave, now, and they did. Families grabbed whatever they could carry. Some took photo albums, some took jewelry, many took nothing. They thought they'd be gone for a few days, maybe a week. They locked their doors. They left food in their refrigerators. They left their cars parked outside. Shop owners left cash in their registers. Hotels left guests' belongings in their rooms. One resident later said, "We left the table set for dinner. We thought we'd be back by nightfall, but they never came back. Within 48 hours, Varosha was empty. 40,000 people gone.
I only hope that one day we will be able to come back for good, okay? This cannot go on forever.
And then, the Turkish military did something strange. They didn't occupy the city. They didn't move soldiers in. They didn't let anyone in. They fenced it off. They put up barbed wire. They stationed guards at every entrance. And they just left it, frozen, untouched. A ghost town by design. Act 3. The Forbidden City. For the next 46 years, Varosha became one of the most mysterious places on Earth. No one could enter. Not the people who used to live there. Not tourists. Not journalists. If you tried to get close, the Turkish soldiers would stop you.
To stay on the roads, no going inside any of the buildings. If we do, we get arrested.
The United Nations passed resolutions demanding it be returned to its residents. The international community condemned the closure, but nothing changed. Varosha just sat there. Nature started to reclaim it. Vines crawled up hotel facades. Trees grew through broken windows. The beach, once filled with tourists, became wild and overgrown. But here's what made it so eerie. Because no one could loot it, because no one could touch it. It stayed exactly as it was in 1974. Mannequins still stood in shop windows, modeling bell-bottom jeans and platform shoes. Posters advertising concerts and movies from 1974 still hung on walls. Cars, rusted in place, their paint fading under the Mediterranean sun. Hotel lobbies still had furniture from the 70s, still had check-in books open to that final week in July. It wasn't just abandoned, it was preserved, a time capsule, but one no one could open. Photographers who managed to sneak images out called it apocalyptic, haunting, unreal, and everyone asked the same question.
What is the purpose? I'm not a tourist, it's my home.
Yeah.
In my town. It's a torture.
You are now watching Glimpse. Subscribe for more films like this one. Act 4. The Theories. So, why did Turkey seal off Varosha? There are a few theories. Theory 1. The bargaining chip. Many believe Turkey kept Varosha closed as leverage, a card to play in negotiations with Cyprus and Greece. Think about it. If you want to pressure the Greek Cypriots to compromise on reunification talks, you hold on to something they desperately want back. And what could be more powerful than an entire city, full of people's homes, their memories, their lives? For decades, Turkey hinted, give us what we want politically, and maybe we'll return Varosha. But those negotiations, they went nowhere. Theory 2. Strategic military zone. Varosha sits in a critical location, right on the coast, close to important military positions. Some say Turkey kept it empty because it was easier to control. No civilians to worry about, no complications, just strategic empty space. Theory 3. Psychological warfare. This one's darker. What better way to remind Greek Cypriots of what they lost than to let them see it, but never touch it? From certain points, former residents could look across the fence and see their homes, their old neighborhoods, the hotels where they worked, the beaches where they played as children, but they couldn't go back.
You're seeing this?
I might see it after 47 years. It scares me. It's I cannot connect in the sense that what I see doesn't bring you out all those nice memories and the good time that you had.
Yeah.
You have to close your eyes and then it all comes back.
Imagine that torture, watching your past decay, right in front of you and being powerless to stop it. Act 5. The Ghosts of Varosha. Let's talk about the people. Because this isn't just about buildings and politics. This is about families who lost everything. Maria was 12 years old when she fled Varosha. She remembers grabbing her favorite doll and running. She remembers her mother crying as they crossed into the safe zone. She's now 62. She's lived her entire adult life displaced. She raised her children in refugee housing. She built a new life. But she never forgot Varosha. She says,
I still dream about our garden, the jasmine that grew by the door. I can still smell it.
Thousands of families have similar stories. They became refugees overnight. Many spent years in camps. Some emigrated to Greece, the UK, Australia, scattering across the world. But a part of them, still in Varosha. Property deeds passed down through generations. Families kept the keys to homes they couldn't access. Children grew up hearing stories about a magical city by the sea, a city they'd never seen but somehow missed. And the psychological impact, devastating. Researchers studying displaced communities found that the people of Varosha suffered from what they called frozen grief. They couldn't move on, because technically their homes still existed. They weren't destroyed. They were just unreachable. It's a unique kind of trauma. Act 6, the reopening. In October 2020, something changed. After 46 years, Turkey announced it would partially reopen Varosha. The world watched as the fences came down. As the gates opened, former residents rushed to see their old neighborhoods. Journalists flooded in. The images that came out were surreal. Decayed luxury hotels with balconies collapsing into the sea. Streets overtaken by vegetation. Buildings leaning at dangerous angles. But also glimpses of that frozen past. Old signs, faded murals, ghosts of the glamorous resort it once was. But here's the twist. Turkey didn't return Varosha to its original residents. Instead, they announced plans to redevelop it, to build new hotels, to attract new tourists. And they made it clear, the Greek Cypriots who fled in 1974, they wouldn't be getting their properties back. The international community condemned the move. The UN called it illegal. Cyprus and Greece protested, but Turkey moved forward anyway. Today, parts of Varosha are open for tours. Tourists can walk through its streets, take photos of the ruins. Some buildings are being demolished, others are being restored. But for the original residents, it's not a homecoming, it's a funeral. You are now watching Glimpse. Subscribe for more films like this one. Varosha isn't just a ghost town. It's a symbol of war, of displacement, of political games played with people's lives. It's a reminder that history doesn't always have happy endings, and that sometimes you can't go home again, even when home is still standing. Today, Varosha exists in a strange limbo. Part ruins, part renovation, part tourist attraction, but for those who remember what it truly was, it's a city that died in 1974 and has been haunting them ever since. The question isn't just, what happened to Varosha? It's, what happens when a place becomes a memory you can see but never touch? And for 40,000 people, the answer is still too painful to say.